And good evening everyone who is watching the stream over here, Rives on Air, and welcome to my, well, not that short, but maybe it will be, hardware, tinkering stream. So, Crimson Zamboni, good evening, welcome, and gonna get ya. Welcome people, nice to see you all. So, one thing about the stream is that I probably won't be able to read YouTube chat at all, and I will be having problems with my Twitch chat even, so yeah, there's that. And another thing is that I'll probably at some point my microphone will start cutting off, so cutting out. Please tell me right away if something's wrong with my microphone, if you hear cutting out, if you've seen like if you hear some strange cut-offs, it's time to change batteries in the transmitter then. Hey me God, good evening, welcome. Haven't seen you in a while, hope everything's amazing. So give me a short second. So I'm coughing today. I don't know what's going on. Either it's just my standard asthmatic thing that happens from time to time, years of smoking, you know, or I cut something. So we'll see tomorrow. Today it's just a little bit of like coughing. So what do we have here? Oh crap, let me fix the cameras. I totally forgot about one thing. There's so much to prepare, always so much to prepare. Give me a second. So let's fix this camera. Yeah, a little bit better. And then let's fix this camera a little bit better. The audio for me it's back. I don't know about you. So my second PC keeps turning off today, and that's not the only problem. Something really went wrong after I restarted my Unraid server today. After not having electricity, there was a power cut for like several hours, so not sure what's going on. Probably got to restart my Unraid server, but we will see about that. For now we don't need it. What we need is our creep in the mini window. Yeah, creep was in the mini window mostly. So what we need to do, this is the motherboard, and it's actually Intel motherboard. Well, the chipset's Intel. So, and the CPU, this is what I got. Well, this is what I bought actually quite some time ago in December, and haven't had time since then to do anything. It's like the new hardware for my rig, and I've been delaying it and postponing it because I absolutely hate touching my main rig. So that's the motherboard, of course. I've already inspected it many times. So, and today we're going to assemble a working PC using this motherboard and the CPU already installed on a bench, and the motherboard box is going to be our bench. Why? Because before I disassemble my rig and put this into my rig, I need 100% to know that everything works according to like the way it should. If something's wrong, I'm just not touching my rig, because that's the hugest pain. If something goes wrong with my rig, I absolutely hate it. So here's the motherboard. It's as you can see, Z6090A DDR4, still DDR4 motherboard. I should have bought DDR5, but I kinda decided that I would run it with the memory that I still have like leftovers, and then would transfer memory from the main rig. But yeah, I'm currently thinking of just buying a separate set of DIMMs for this motherboard, looking at like some 3060 mega transfers per second modules, 16 gigabytes per module for sticks. So pretty serious memory aspirations, let's put it that way. So the CPU is already in there. I have inspected the slot, the grid, that grid array there many times. So, and more than that, I have I don't even know how is it called. Yeah, bending, it's a frame. I have a new frame for this socket. These CPUs, as you can see, they are not like square. They are a little bit rectangular. So, and because of that, there actually have been problems. People been complaining that the force applied by the heatsink is not enough for proper thermal conductivity, to form proper thermal conductivity, and simply the CPU sometimes gets kinda, well, I mean, hotter than it should be. So that's why some smart people designed a different frame for the slot. Well, probably installing these I would void warranty for the motherboard, but the thing is that you have to remove completely the all metal surrounding the CPU socket, then put the CPU in, and then screw this thing in. So it goes instead of the one that's on the motherboard. It allows to have more even pressure on the CPU and more even like surface of the CPU and whatnot. So gives you just a couple of degrees of lower of the copper CPU temperature gets a couple degrees lower. So I bought this thing because on AliExpress, because it was just pretty cheap, and that's it. Never tried it, never tried anything like that before. It seems to be compatible, the size of the slot, so shouldn't be a problem. But I will install, yeah, this is an issue with these long CPUs. This is an issue especially with the ones that are high tier. This is 13700 Core i7-13700K, a full-fledged CPU. The top tier would be 13900. So, but this is 13700, and it's like, well, it's pretty much as close to the top as possible. So I don't know if we get to install this thing today. Probably I'll just want to run it without the just on standard CPU mount, without changing the CPU mount completely, because, well, when you install this, yeah, it kind of holds your CPU down by just these screws. So no removing the CPU, no installing a fresh one without working with screwdriver. So because I'm going to use it as my main rig, I'm going to test it with an NVMe drive. Unfortunately, I don't have Windows. I don't have Windows 11 on this NVMe drive. I still don't have Windows 11. I gotta figure that out, but I have Windows 10. And this drive already has a working installation of Windows 10 prepared on my Chinese rig. The rig that actually at some point been running Chinese components. Motherboard from AliExpress of like Chinese manufacturer. The CPU bought on AliExpress, and even the video card bought on AliExpress. So let's first install the hard drive, the SSD, just to have something to work with when we get to run the system. But of course, first we will have to post it, but it will be a little bit hard to actually install SSDs after we install the cooler. There's like a piece of something over there. I'm curious what's this. It doesn't look like it's a broken off piece. I kinda wish I could show you. Give me a second. It's a little bit too dark here. NVMe slots, and I don't need that many actually. So can I make it? Can you see it? Can we magnify it? See? This small piece on the screw. What's that? Never seen it. It looks like it's broken off, but doesn't look like it is actually a part of that broke off something. Sorry for the shaky image. Oh. Ow. Just a sec. Here's the monitor. The motherboard is completely new. As you can see, there is still a tape here, protective tape on the radiator. It's NVMe lock? Yeah, okay. I haven't seen this thing before. It's plastic, so thank you, Mountain Man. Look like a lock. Okay. It's kinda not needed, but okay. So let's put the NVMe drive in. Where is the slot itself? Here it is. Hey, I need to unscrew it probably completely, because no, I don't need to. Okay, cool, nice. It's a lock, and you just gotta push it a little bit lower than expected, and you have to have the lock out of the way first. So I mean, I have to remove the tape, even though I'm not going to use this drive with this motherboard. It's only for testing purposes. So, but we have to. Yeah, it's a new thing. It's a new thing. I heard that they exist, but I've never seen one. So this kind of goes here, this goes here, and this goes here. Is there even any contact between the thermal pad on the heatsink and the drive itself? I'm looking like from the side. So maybe it's touching, yeah, only the chips. Okay, technically these drives, they don't need that much cooling. Yeah, it'd be nice, but that's not necessary. As you can see, these slots for NVMe, they don't have any heat sinks offered. Interesting though that I think these ones, so this is like only NVMe, and this looks like only no, there is a diagram on the motherboard. Only NVMe, only NVMe. So this NVMe and SATA, and this one's NVMe and SATA too. So 2 only PCIe and 2 combined. So it's not considered a high tier motherboard. It's actually pretty basic motherboard. So now we need the cooler. This is going to be interesting because the box is larger than the motherboard. So I got this deep cool cooler. It's always an adventure with these big ones. I'm not going to water cool my rig again. I've actually, the only AIO water cooling system that I had, it turned out to be a freaking pain in the butt. I don't want to deal with that again, so I'm on air for now. But air for 13700, for 3900, it's not the right answer, unfortunately. These CPUs, they are freaking hot as hell. So that's the cooler that I found. It's RGB, but I actually have fans in a separate box that are not RGB. So I bought some not RGB fans to, well, I don't need any RGB puke under my desk. So this is Deep Cool Game Max series AG620BK with RGB. So let's see. Supposed to have the right mounts. If it doesn't have the right mounts to be mounted to the this socket is at 1700 LJ 1700, I don't remember, then we are a little bit screwed. So there's like, oh, here we have the leads for RGB. Yeah, that's RGB leads. I attempted to cut them off. I attempted actually to install the right coolers immediately. So maybe let's just do it. So, but first let's see if we have the right mounts. So this is the box of additional stuff. And we have a small manual here. Let's take a look. 1700, 1200. Yeah, and there's another problem, clearing the memory. These tower coolers, they're freaking so big that you might get problems with like memory here. So you'll have to install a back plate. That has both holes for 1200 older sockets and 1700. So two types of brackets, E and G, and we need E. G is for the big ones. So okay, let's see if everything's here. So that's the back plate. It actually has different holes too. Not sure how to move them around. Interesting. You cannot see it, it's too small, but currently these screws here, they're in middle position, which is for older sockets, and we need them on the side H position, which is for our socket. But how to actually make it work? Aha, they just click. You just move them, and I just click out to the next position. So okay, let's check if we can put it on the motherboard, just to be 100% sure. So will it go here? Yeah, by the look of it, everything looks good. These are coming out in all the right places. Okay, this is good. Now let's take a look at the... Okay, you stay there, like that. Let's take the look at the brackets. We need the smaller ones. E brackets here. The smaller ones. I hear lots of bags here, lots of plastic bags. So let's first prepare the mount then, to see if everything can be properly mounted. So yeah, this is for, I believe, LJ 1700, 1200, 1151, 1150, 1155. So first you're supposed to screw on these ones, these big thumb screws. Let's not go crazy. For now we'll tighten them up. Oh, wait a second, they have white bottoms. I'm curious. Yeah, I don't think it's something I have to remove. It's a protection to protect the motherboard, the traces there. Plastic protection on the bottom of this big metal thumb screws. So actually reading about this custom bracket for the CPU, I realized one thing. Now it's going to be a little bit of rambling here, but I realized one thing. Remember, so big CPUs, that's a common thing. Big CPUs, they have problems with mounting. they are kind of a little bit hard to mount right. So, and you are supposed to even the pressure, even the pressure out, mounting big CPUs as much as possible. It's a big problem on Threadrippers. Well, they kind of like not a thing really anymore, but it's an AMD big CPUs. When people had experienced all sorts of crazy stuff, especially in the beginning, because of not evening out the pressure. Basically, some of the pins on the array, on the grid array, won't just make proper contact to the CPU pads, or they would contact that would be intermittent and whatnot, would make contact only from time to time intermittently, and that would cause absolutely crazy looking issues. The most common issue, especially on Threadrippers, was motherboard, CPU, well, the computer, not seeing some memory modules installed. So, yeah, there was that. And the way to fix it wasn't like moving memory around, reinstalling it, taking other memory. No, the way to fix it was to take out the CPU and to remount it again. So, big CPUs sloppy. Good evening, welcome. Good evening. So, big CPUs. Gotta mount them really well. And Threadrippers, they had 3 big screws to close the socket, to close the bracket on the socket. And you got to tighten them up in specific order and with a specific screwdriver that's kind of metering the tension. So, limiting the tension. And I realized one thing. Remember the problem with my rig a long time ago, where it would randomly, not randomly, under load during streaming, usually while streaming DZ, it would just stop working, and it wouldn't be crash, it wouldn't be like a blue screen, it would be just halt, stop, full stop. The image would still be there, but it would be just dead. And it wouldn't even restart properly after that. And only by like sheer luck, after spending ton of time figuring that out, I figured out that it was a memory problem. So on the load, it would just on the fly, during like just normal work, it would lose one of the D modules, and that would of course completely destroy the system and whatnot. So obviously it was happening during active work periods. So I thought it had to do something with thermal expansion of the D module, something on the motherboard. But now I think it was thermal expansion that was driving the CPU pads out of contact with the pins of the array of the socket. So yeah, thermal expansion. So something would get bigger, something would get a little bit bent, and some of the pins wouldn't be in proper contact and would lose it on like being heated, the whole thing being just getting heated up. So, and I think now that it's a mounting, a CPU mounting problem. So gotta be careful mounting this one. But that's why I got this this bracket that's supposed to even out the pressure even more. Okay. Now the manual says, what else? Oh, you need more thumb screws there. Okay. So you put the brackets on like this way. That's crooked. Willy, good evening, welcome. Yeah, look at this beauty. LGA 1700, it's they are enumerated and it's supposed to be 1. But it doesn't want to go to 1. You know what? Yeah. What the hell? No, LJ 700 is 2. Oh god. So there's 3 positions here. So LJ 700 is 2. And they're so easy to move around. It's like kinda like positions. You're supposed to, yeah. Sorry for coughing. It's supposed to be fixed with the more thumb screws. So a big tower cooler by Deepcool AG720. That's what we are going to install here. So air cooling, not ready to go with, not ready to use water again. So it's kind of going to be a little bit hard. They are moving. You can probably see it. There is some play. It's not like it's properly centered. On position number 2, so 1, 2, 3 here. But it's not like 3 separate holes. It's like one oval hole. I don't know if it's like... So I had an AIO by Be Quiet, first version of one of their AIO products, AIO, and yeah, they later released the second version. The first version isn't good. The only good thing about it that you can actually disassemble it, and I probably will post about it separately on Twitter, because that bloody thing. It has a filling port in the CPU, heatsink, CPU, and pump. It's combined, and that port, the plug got stuck there, and I'm currently trying to drill it out. So I completely disassembled the whole thing. Actually, it's here. So that's what it is. The only thing about this AIO that it's possible to disassemble. So that's the pump and the heatsink, and well, here it is. Got to clean it, but I haven't been cleaning it because it has lots of white residue because of freaking this. That's the plug that got stuck inside. Couldn't unscrew it, couldn't get it out, so I'm kind of trying to drill it out, but haven't been really working on it lately. So I tried to get it out by a drill that's specifically intended for drilling out things that spiraled in the opposite direction. Didn't work. It's freaking sitting there too deep and too tight, and at the same time it's too soft. Yeah, the AIO designed, you can remove the tubing, you can pretty much remove everything and Be Quiet. Yeah, that's the only good thing about them. And I needed to open this because the bloody thing was losing water and started making bubbles. So for now, if I don't find a way to drill this out, I have a separate plug, another plug. If I don't find a way to drill this out, then I will probably epoxy it and try to add just a reservoir to the circuit. but that's again, that's some investment that I don't think I'm right now ready to do. Okay, so let's try to feed this scene. So feeding this scene is going to be, well, I mean, that's freaking big. We will have to remove the fence either way and then install new ones. So let's do it here. So this is the cooler. I don't need this fence. I'm going to install the different ones. I have them already, so let's remove the brackets. So these are inner brackets. They can be actually different. And these are outer brackets. I don't need this RGB stuff in my rig. So okay. New fence, not RGB, and a little bit more. That would perform a little bit better according to their own specifications. Oh yes, we need something to cut this. Identical to Noctua. Well, they all look identical. So they all look kind of identical. The brackets and whatnot. So we have we have a splitter here, and we have 3 fans. So technically we can actually install 3. Okay, I will think about it. For now, it's going to be 2. These ones seem to be a little bit more advanced. They have rubberized corners. Camera mount working. It's a different one. It's a different one. It's not the overhead one. It's not my desk. So it's a microphone stand. So the difference between them, you can see the one with RGB puke and the one that's without it. So kind of feels a little bit more premium. So yeah, here we go. Should be like this, and then I suppose, yeah, the direction is always, and should be one like this here. Okay, but now back to the motherboard. Sorry for coughing. Don't know if I cut something or if it's my standard task machine. So trying just to see if it fits properly here. Let me see if I can actually screw it down, because I'm a little bit afraid that I haven't adjusted the brackets right. Oops. Okay, nice. They cut the thread. So yeah, everything's good. Let's apply the paste. the compound and install this. So here we go. Don't forget to remove this before installing it. This is only DDR4 board, so I made a mistake. I should have bought DDR5 board and memory, because I ending up buying, well, the DDR, well, another set of memory again. But I made a mistake. I thought I would use the stuff that I have left, but I'm not going to. So I have a little bit of this. This is Arctic Cooling MX5. So, but for the final installation, I have this. And I think it should be enough still. I used it for repasting the Chinese RTX 3060 that I got from Ali. People in the reviews kind of recommended repasting that card, so I did it. And this is like the best one that's not liquid metal. That's not liquid metal when it comes to thermal conductivity. So thermal conductivity of this one, I'm not actually seeing it here. It's not on the pack for some reason. So, and this one doesn't have its thermal conductivity measured here anywhere. So, but yeah, okay. Info about thermal conductivity of this one, it's on the internets. So this one, even though it's very good, still lower than this one. So, but that's I'm going to use only for the final installation. This installation is just for testing. So okay. So since the CPU is kind of big, so it's larger. Let's see if we can spread this out a little bit. There was a spatula. So with standard consumer, this older CPUs, you don't need to worry about this, but this one, yeah, this might not be simply enough. Especially for the borders. The how's it called? The substrate, the scene is in the very middle. The crystal, the electronics of the chip, of the CPU, but still the edges, they still conduct and thus dissipate heat a little bit, so you don't want to leave them without any paste. I don't think I'm going to actually repaste it for deeper tests. I'm going to see if this all works. If it does, then without remounting anything, I will just start running things like video encoding, games and whatnot. So pretty much going to try to give it the full, my standard full load, gaming and streaming. That's why I need it for. Anyway, that's what I need it for. So I'm going to add it a little bit more in the middle just in case. Usually for standard older CPUs with rectangular leads, or square leads, they would say like just put a little bit in the middle like a rice grain, but not really enough for this one. So okay, now time to put the cooler radiator on. Here we go. It moves a little bit, has some play. You can see it when it's not tightened, so but that's okay. And then we examine the clearance for the DIMM modules. Actually, the situation with these gigantic coolers is they're pretty much so big that you have to first probably try them on and then only buy the memory for the motherboard based on the available space for it, because it already kinda not giving me lots of access. You cannot see it, I'll show you. Lots of access to the closest to the CPU socket DIMM slot. Okay, here we go. Seem to be installed, seem to be just on there. Everything looks good. Looks good here. So now memory. Let me show to you what's going on here. So this is without the cooler, a fan on this side. Oh, that's pretty much a little bit too dark. That's still too dark. Let me fix this. That's a little bit better. Probably got to do the same with the overhead cam. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Okay, so the manual focus cams still kind of dark. Okay, this seriously drops the frames, but you can see the problem. So this slot will 100% interfere with the fan. So yeah, not good, not good at all. That's how it looks here on this camera. So let's figure out what I can use for for memory. Just give me a second. That part I haven't prepared. I know that I have some memory. I just don't remember the box. Just give me a second. This one. No, this is video cards for testing, might come in handy, but that's not what I need here. Okay, which one? Just a second. Here we go. So I have a bunch of memory here. Let's figure out what I can use. Maybe we actually can, just for testing purposes, try to run some crazy configuration. So that's why, Mountain Man, I'm buying the some new memory. But let's see how it. Yeah, I can slide the fan up, definitely. That's definitely a thing. So I can probably create enough clearance for pretty much any standard module, like installing this fan like this. So it would hurt a little bit, of course, cooling, but not that much. So, but yeah, Mountain Man, yeah. But low profile. The thing is that all the ones that I'm seeing on the market right now that are available don't cost like a fortune. They kind of like, they are not tall, but they are not low profile. Arman, good evening, welcome. Oh crap! It's thermal paste. So I have a bunch of pretty tall memory modules here. Oh, and they all seem like a set. So these ones, they're tied together because it's the ones sorry, that I suspected were problematic in my main rig, and I removed them, but I think they weren't problematic. It was memory channels to CPU and CPU contacting the contact between the CPU and the motherboard, the connection. So that was probably the problem, not the memory, because I tested these ones since even though the scenario of them failing was kinda really specific and hard to test under only heavy load like streaming and gaming, streaming something like DZ. So they just did not fail in another motherboard, and they seem to be all the same. I didn't know I still had a kit of 4, and this is like a kit of 4. So to here and to here. Okay, let's fill them. Mountain Man, no, I'm going to use all 4. Going to use all 4. So let's see. Let's see if we can populate them here. So starting with the one that's, of course, closer to the CPU. Here we go. So these ones, they're actually not low profile at all. They are a little bit higher than standard profile. So as you can see, where it ends here, the board, but the heatsink goes higher. And I think I can use something like that with this motherboard. So these are probably 8 gigs each one. Give me a second, actually I can Google it. What is this? In this case it's really easy to do through the store they were bought in. i7-13700K. Okay, it was a kit of 4 DIMMs, 8 gigabytes each, 3000 mega transfers per second, timings 15, 17, 17. So not the worst memory actually, but again, half of them I suspected that, like, pretty much that's the memory from my main rig that I took out when I was figuring out the situation with one of the DIMMs periodically, not constantly, pretty constantly getting disconnected. So and I'm going to buy new memory and I'm going to populate all these slots. So I'm going for 64 gigs, and I'm not going to switch to DDR5 motherboard. Maybe like that, or maybe we'll see. I don't think it's going to be like leaving a lot of CPU power on the table. Some, of course, but not a lot. Okay, they're all in there. Good. Now, let's see what we can do with the fans. So here we have a fan. The lid goes down, or maybe on that side. That's sys-fan lid. Sys-fan connector. CPU fan 1, CPU fan 1, CPU fan 2. So, and technically I can use 3 of them here. I have 3, and there's probably a bracket somewhere. I'm actually not seeing it. There is something stuck in there though. Oh, that's a splitter. Good, but I'm not seeing these wire brackets for the third one, for the optional third cooler install. Yeah, probably only 2. Okay, always can get slapped the third one on the side with some zip ties. So let's see. So and this goes away, we don't need it. So this So I'm going to put it like this on. So one goes here. They actually rubberized, so they are a little bit larger, the corners and the mounting, pretty much the mounting point for this bracket. So probably going to hold it a little bit tighter, but we'll see. Again, if something doesn't work, not a big problem. We always can return back to the old ones. So this one we put a little bit off center. Well, I mean, we can pretty much, you cannot see it, but we can pretty much do it like this, them touching the heat sinks, the fan touching the heat sinks. Probably not the best idea though. So I raised it a little bit. Here we go. This is not going to move, but this is, look at the clearance of it. So, okay, this one's done. The second one we need. The second one. So it's kind of like, it all looks fancy, but it's not Arctic, that's not Noctua. I wish I could buy Noctua. I should have waited, but I didn't know that. I didn't know if it would be a good idea, so I decided not to wait. I just bought whatever I could buy, and because that's when it was possible. That's when pretty much, let's put it that way, I had money. But I still will have to, if this all works properly. If it's not, it's going to be a tragedy. But if it all works properly, I will have to, of course, sell my current CPU and motherboard and memory probably. So because it's a little bit too heavy for the budget. And putting it in the middle. Like this, more or less. That's the way you actually can mount them. You can mount them uneven, a little bit tilted. So one in the middle is good. The one on the right side is less good, but still should be okay. And plus, there's an option. Okay, it's not the right fan, but there's an option to add another one here. And again, it clears pretty much everything, so it is 100% possible. Absolutely humongous thing. But, and this one's not going really to change a lot, but definitely possible to add the third one. I just need these brackets or some other way to mount it. So everything actually coming along pretty nicely, even though that's not the right memory. It's black too, pretty old memory. The board's black and the coolers are black, so everything just pretty black here. What's this connector? JSMB1. Curious what's SMB in this case, but okay. So connecting this stuff again. I'm only building it for the to test it on the bench. But I'm going, if it runs, I'm going to give it some serious work to chew through. So it's going to spend, if everything starts properly, it's going to spend like this several days. Then I will install Windows 11 on this one when I get Windows 11. Because 13, as far as I remember, I'm not sure about 12 generation Intel probably too, but 13 generation definitely needs Windows 11 because they have, well, I mean, 12 generation probably has it too. They have these efficiency cores and they have these like power cores, so I don't remember what's the name of them. A second. Needed to sneeze. So, and Windows 10 doesn't have proper CPU scheduler for all these cores. So Windows 10 would run here, but it won't be able to use the cores properly. Windows 11 on the other side would understand which tasks to assign to the efficiency cores and which tasks to assign to the power cores. Efficiency, they kinda cooler and slower. The power ones, they are fast and hot and consume a lot of power. So I have a power supply here, an old one, an old Chief Tech that actually I took out of my Chinese rig. So this power supply is just like goes from rig to rig for testing again. 650 watt should be enough to run the system even with without overclocking, of course, even with a video card like 1080 or 360 that I have, or without a video card because the CPU actually has a video card in it. So let's connect it and let's try to run it. So the thermals, of course, I'm not going to test thermals. So for me, the only problem would be like really serious throttling at this point. But if it just throttles a little bit or doesn't throttle at all, yeah, I will have to test stability and pretty much not really the speed at this point, but stability for now. So let's add the motherboard box, but I'm on the wood here, so not a big deal. So it's heavy now. It is freaking so heavy. I don't even know how the motherboard can actually bear all this weight in vertical position. Like, I have no idea. So connecting power. Cannot really see it, but there is a power connector, the main one, that doesn't want to go in. Because why? Because I didn't insert it properly. Okay, that's one. And then there is two for CPU power. Yeah, this motherboard has two 8-pin plugs for additional CPU power. So let's hope. Well, I mean, this power supply, of course, it's supposed to work with all this stuff. It's old actually, but still has enough connectors we are looking for here. here we go. Power is in. Unfortunately, there's no onboard indicator for with error codes, and I don't have a PCIe board with error code indicator. That would be really helpful to have. For now, we just have to hope that it all would just work the way it's supposed to. So let's get the monitor connected. The monitor is going to be this. Not a big deal. Just a pretty old monitor that will be 100% enough for testing. At 4x3 even. So let me get an adapter for it. HDMI to D-sub. Here we go. We have one here. So here we go. You didn't see that. Here's an adapter. The HDMI output. So for now, I'm going to use the video card that's in the CPU itself. So what's called? I don't remember. Embedded. No, it's APU. It's AMD name for that stuff. So, and then we need a keyboard. The keyboard I'm going to use. If you give me a second. It's not the best keyboard, but definitely useful enough for this case. Here we go. So everything seemed to be connected for Raspberry Pi, and I use one of those for my HTPC as a remote. The monitor kinda not giving any image anymore. Okay. Moment of truth, I suppose. Let's run this. Let's start to go the wrong way. Yeah. Okay, the keyboard's on. The power's on. Supposed to be on. I'm not seeing any lights on the motherboard coming up. Nothing indicates that it's in standby. Oh, there's no button here. Okay. So where is the thing here? They don't have the legend for it on the motherboard. You trying to tell me that I will have to find a manual to find the right pins to short for the button to turn it on. So you're making me to look for the manual. The box, the manual is in the box. Okay. Going to be a little bit hard. Oh, boy. This is heavy. Okay, do they even print manuals these days? No, they don't. CPU quick installation guide. Come on, I'm not seeing any legend here for the standard connector for like power and whatnot. Okay, it's all here. It is here. Power switch is on no pin side, close to no pin. Okay. Power switch is these two. Okay, just a second. To close the board, the box, and put it back in there. So I remember some BIOSes actually. They actually, it's an MSI motherboard, and I had a different MSI motherboard for different CPU, like that HDT platform 299. No, it was 299, yeah, motherboard 299 chipset, and it couldn't work with old monitors 4x3 and the low res. It would just output garbage on screen, and the interface of BIOS would be just broken. Okay. Power on again. Screwdriver. Now fingers crossed. Okay. We have power. There's an LED indicator. CPU, DRAM, CPU, DRAM. Right now it's going from CPU to DRAM. So probably it's training memory. So it's doing something. You cannot see it, but it's going back and forth, back and forth. Okay, not good. There's no output, and it's still going back and forth from CPU to DRAM.
Back in Boston, we didn't know what to do. So
Let's give it a second. Let's give it a little bit more time.
she says,
Sometimes training can
let's just wait it out.
take time.
You know, we can be all poetic and just lose our minds together.
So still pretty much doing the same stuff. CPU DRAM, CPU DRAM. Interesting. Didn't expect that to be a problem. The RAM seems to be installed properly. Just cycles between CPU indicator and DRAM indicator.
I wasn't alone. So I'm still waiting.
So maybe there's something wrong with the memory. Maybe there's something wrong with memory mount, with the CPU mount. So different reasons. So we'll probably have to play around with the memory sticks.
Hey, wait.
And try to get it to boot with just one stick of memory. And try different slots. Actually, what about slots we can use? No, it's still cycling between the lights of the CPU light and memory. So maybe that memory was faulty. Okay, so you're not doing anything. Turning it off. Removing the fan. And looking for the DIMM slot 1. DIMM slot 1 is the closest one to the CPU. Yeah, you cannot see anything there. And I cannot really show you unless I just do it like this. Here you go. So power is off. Let's remove all the DIMMs here but one. And yeah, I'm not going to put cooler back on. It can stay on the side. Enough for testing. So let's do it again. There's a thing that maybe the motherboard doesn't have the right bias. Maybe it doesn't support the CPU. Maybe it's supposed to, but who knows. I think there's a way to flash bias without we can flash bias, reflash bias without running the computer itself. So okay, let's try it again. Hey, here we go, it's on. CPU light. CPU light's on. CPU light is on, and that's it. No jumping between CPU and DRAM. Maybe this is the BIOS problem. Okay. Can try, of course, different modules in different slots. Now it's just not moving anywhere. No cycling between two lights. There's no video output, and I don't think anything's going on. There's a special light for boot. There's no boot light. Let's different slot. Try. Where did I put my screwdriver? Aha. For a second there was a DRAM light this time. Interesting, maybe I got to try a different module. Okay. Nothing's happening. Doesn't look like it's draining memory or anything. Yeah, PCI Express card for error bias error codes would be absolutely amazing. Actually, is there a speaker connector? Let me see. Because maybe we can use the beep codes. I'm not seeing the speaker on the motherboard, so yeah, no info about speaker, and the motherboard's not making any beeps on its own. JFP2. Okay, there is a legend actually, it's just so small. Okay, I have a perfect speaker for the job. Let me get it. This one. This one we will 100% hear. Oh. Let's turn it off. So JFP2 has 4 pins, but the legend only gives me 3. Interesting. So here we go. Now we should be able to hear something. Ah, power. Hello? Come on. No sound even. So it's hard to read the diagram here because it's not really saying. It has 3 pins on the diagram, and I have 4 pins on the JFP2 connector. Or the motherboard's not making any sounds whatsoever. Just cannot run at all. God knows. Gotta probably download the manual with exact pinouts. Okay. Let's try all the memory slots and then a different memory module. Okay, it for a second goes to DRAM and then stays on CPU. Interesting. And no sound from the speaker whatsoever. I'm not sure that the speaker's connected right. So let's try a different type of connection. So, and again. Okay, it's dead silent. Interesting. Boom, 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 boom. The last slot. Here we go. Okay, not running. Let's try a different module, since we have, well, they're all kind of similar. That's the problem. So maybe if it's for some reason incompatible with these exact modules, then maybe. Okay, what if I actually run it without any memory whatsoever? What would it do? Can you hear that? Memory error. So the motherboard at least is alive. Some progress, yeah, and it shows DRAM indicator. So maybe there is a problem with the CPU or the memory, but I'm not sure. So we know that we have sound now. We know that motherboard stays dead silent. And that it's stuck on the CPU light. Okay. So give me a second. I need space. Some space on my desk back. So this is not working. Let's try another slot. For a second goes to DRAM and then returns back to the CPU. So maybe it's not the memory, because technically all these DIMMs, even though a couple of them probably are problematic, but they are all okay. Well, okay, they all would work to some extent. So I guess I have an idea what to try next. Just let me first get some space on my desk back. So the bridge actually is getting pretty hot. Oh, okay. The chipset. Did I lose some screws? I don't know. We'll figure that out later. And I mean like natural screws, not the ones in the head. So getting the chair back. So let's Google a thing or two about this motherboard, right? Oh, here it is. Okay, you do something as basic as just trying to run a motherboard with a CPU in it, and immediately you get piles of stuff around you. So, okay, give me a second here. So we have this here. Let me just Google it on the website. What's the name of the motherboard? MSI Pro Z690A DDR4. DDR4. Here we go. Yeah, I can show you this. So DDR4, this is the right one. Looks just like ours. Okay, this is all cool. Let's take a look at what they have support in the support. They have quite some BIOS releases with CPU microcode update and memory compatibility always. Ready for next gen CPU. Yeah, see this? Initially, the motherboard actually wasn't ready for the next gen CPUs. So maybe it has, actually I'm not sure if I can check. Is it supposed to have like any info on the box what BIOS was loaded on the factory? This one's called 7D25 with 17, and there is 7D25 but without version. It says 7D25. It's like, I think like yeah, a product code or something, but it doesn't specify the BIOS version. Okay, so let's download this. There's a text file here. Okay, nothing, just very short release notes. How to flash the BIOS. SOP download. Oh no, that's not the way we can update the BIOS. not this way. We need that function that would allow you to update the BIOS without using the running board. Manual and document. Let's see. Can you make it a little bit larger? Team slots, installing BIOS, resetting, updating BIOS. M-Flash, we don't need M-Flash. MSI center, we don't need. Flash BIOS button. Please do not load BIOS that matches your motherboard model from the MSI website. Rename MSI ROM to MSI ROM and save it the root of your USB flash drive. Connect the power supply. No need to install CPU and memory, but we have the CPU already. Flash BIOS port on the real I/O. And press the flash BIOS button, and the LED starts flashing. So, okay. Give me a second then. Let's find the flash drive. That's actually probably supposed to be FAT32. Supposed to be in so these ones, that's not the right box. Supposed to be standard mbr.gpt. So we have this one. So let me figure this out. The BIOS we already have. What did just got disconnected? Did we just lose one of the cameras? No. Just give me a second. Gotta love that feature. Yeah, if it works. So the flash drive has to be, people forget about it, but the flash write has to be MBR, and it has to be FAT32, and as last stuff there as possible. Okay, this one has already something on it. Remove everything from the flash drive. Sorry, not showing it to you. Some personal info here. So let me take a look if this flash drive is good enough for the job. 8 gig transcend flash drive. It's formatted in NTFS, already not good. Format it. FAT32. Fast. Yes, do it please. Can you? You can. Checking. Properties. FAT32. Good. Now, let's look at the volumes. Come on, read them. Volumes on the USB flash disk drive. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. You're going to crash here? Never been a problem, but today it is. I'm just looking at the... Yeah, nice. Trying to see what's going on with the type of the flash drive. Let's try it again. Volumes, feel it. Here we go. Yeah. It has not MBR but GUID on it, and this is not right. It won't probably flash with GUID. Oh god. Okay. Let me actually use Rufus to fix the problem with this drive. So I'm going to show it to you right now. Just a second. Rufus. It's usually a ton of Rufus. Oh god, and now my phone is low on charge. Just a second. Downloads, not documents. Rufus. Rufus should be able to just, format it all. 311. Here we go. Oh, it's in Russian. Amazing. I can show it to you, but it's not going to be. Can I switch it to English? Yeah, I can. Okay. Now I think I can show it to you. So this is our flash drive open here. So Rufus, just using Rufus to format it. Non-bootable MBR, not GUID. FAT32 default, just basically to format the bloody scene. Yes. So, but again, maybe it would require actually GUID on this flash drive to be able to read it without the CPU. These ways of refreshing BIOSes on motherboard without the CPUs with BIOS flash button, they are pretty tricky. Okay, so we got this. Checking again if it's FAT32, then volumes, MBR. Okay. If it doesn't work with this, if it doesn't want to flash this, then I don't know. Now, I closed, of course, downloaded BIOS already because I close everything. So putting the BIOS on the flash drive. Unpacking. Here we go. And then it says rename it to msi.rom. Let's do it. Oh god. Wrong folder. Created a folder for some reason. We don't need this folder. msi.rom. So if you want to try to use this BIOS flashback button that allows you to refresh empty motherboards without CPUs and without memory installed, don't forget about the type of volume and the type of file system on your flash drive. So here we go. That's our flash drive. I forgot about one thing. Flash BIOS port on the rear I/O panel. So DIMM slot CPU socket, USB, front panel connections. I'd love to see explanation of the ports on the back of the motherboard. Aha, here it is. So flash BIOS port is the lower one, next to the flash BIOS button. Okay. Oh god. Of course it doesn't want to go in there. I hate USB. What's wrong with you? USB-A, it's just... it's a quantum state connector. It's always in a state of superposition. So in this one has its lock broken. It really easily goes back inside. Here we go. Okay, I guess you don't need to turn on anything. Just give it some power. Here we have power. And then press the button. Can you see it? You cannot. But it's reading the data from flash drive and it's blinking. Oh, freaking hell. That's the camera we lost. That's the camera we lost. It's not here anymore. Here it is. That's what got disconnected. So you can see the light on the drive is on, and the LED is blinking. So at least it's trying to do something. It's not like it refused to do anything completely. Okay, let's give it some time to blink here properly. So, but lots of people I heard, even like tech YouTubers, been complaining about this feature, BIOS flashback or whatever, BIOS flash button, because of probably this function being pretty sensitive to the type of the volume, type of the file system on the flash drive. So I figured out it has to be MBR, the old style, for now at least, and it has to be FAT32 for the motherboard to be able to read it. So it's kind of trying to read it. It's accessing the drive, I think. The light came on not when I plugged it in, not when I turned the power. The light on the flash drive turned on when I plugged in, when I pressed the button. So, but I've seen people complaining that it would start blinking and never stop. Not on this motherboard, not even like on this manufacturer motherboard, but who knows. Let's see. Flashing normally takes time. And it's supposed to turn off, right? When it's done. Let's take a look at it again. Updating the BIOS. The LED will be turned off when the process is completed. Okay. No, it should be just off, and that's it, I suppose. Okay. But I've heard complaints that it would just never stop. Oh boy. Let's hope. Fingers crossed. Again, you can try different flash drives. You can try different volume structure. Well, you could. So, and you could try to actually do what? To fresh format the flash drive again, and then copy the file there, already having the right name, and like literally nothing else. You know, that's already taking a little bit too long. So I should have tried a flash drive without any files, or without mci.rom file, to see how it would react on that. So maybe it's important for this system if the file is just saved on the flash drive in one chunk. You know, it can be fragmented because that's how file systems work. So maybe this one only supports like sequential read. Yeah, this is not good. So cut the same problem as many other people. Just constant flashing and never stopping. Okay, uh, let's give it a second. And I'm going just to go and grab something to drink. So And I'm back, and it's still flashing, so it's probably not doing anything. So different flash drives then, different flash drives. That's the only way around it. So, but first, let's try to boot it. Maybe it was flashed, just couldn't restart properly. What you going to do? So let's see. Let me adjust the camera. So, turning. Here we go. So let's do it again. Yeah. So the scene wouldn't work with all drives. That's 100%. And you gotta try different ones. So maybe actually GPT structure of since it's a new motherboard, maybe we need the GPT volume structure. So no, I don't think it even tried to read the flash drive. The flash drive was indicator was always on and never was blinking. Yeah, the same thing here. Okay, let me find another flash drive. I have a couple pretty old ones, but I unfortunately don't have the new ones. The new ones, they are not empty at all. So, and they are not probably. I cannot really format them because they are not empty. So this one, does it have a light? We need the one with a light. If it doesn't have a light, then we don't need it. It's not even detected. Okay. Okay, this one goes. Let's try another old Transcend one. I have this one for 4 gigabytes, a beautiful beautiful one. Yeah, they are not really getting any proper connection. Yeah, this is not good. This is not going to work. You gotta press it a little bit with your finger to make it work. This one's the same. Oh boy. Okay. So got to start looking at the full flash drives. So here I have one that's not FAT32, that's for sure. I have a couple of pretty old ones that are 100% MBR and FAT32, and they're the oldest ones that I have. Yeah. But this one has grub installed on it with some files to boot. Okay. I guess. So whatever. And I keep, of course, closing files, always closing like folders, files, because that's how I do it. So let me do it the right way now. Just give me a sec. So trying another flash drive. Not showing it to you. It again has some information there. Renaming the file to the msi.rom, moving it to the flash drive. So I googled it. It's supposed to take around 5 minutes, but in our case it was way longer. And the indicator on the flash drive is supposed to be flashing. Not just constantly on. Oh. Let's move the camera again. Here you go. So power on. And then BIOS flashback. The same scene. The indicator of the flash drive is steadily on. Okay. Let's give it another 5 minutes. But I think according to the YouTube videos, it's supposed to, this one here, supposed to blink randomly, showing that the flash drive is being read, accessed, and pretty much used, not just powered on. So I have an idea I wanted to try. Maybe format it to GPT still, and then use that. So while this one is trying to, well, do something, I'm taking another one and just going to reformat it into GPT. So Rufus again. Here we go. So GPT FAT32. There's such thing actually as cluster size on the flash drive, and the size of cluster might be important too for the system to be able to read it. Default is like 4,000 kilobytes per cluster. Okay, formatting another drive into GPT. Well, it's FAT32. The partition scheme is GPT. So close. Now Messiah ROM. Copy it. So this one, obviously, this one's here is not doing anything. So there's no accessing the flash drive, unfortunately. Yeah, I have a freaking unhappy day today. Started with just a power cut, then something was wrong with my, and still wrong. Started, that's me talking, sorry. And still is wrong with my Android server, and now this. Okay, let's turn it off. Try to boot it. Hey, I just cut your power. Why are you still on? That took some time for it. Yeah, big capacitors in the power supply. So the same situation, nothing's changing, just CPU lights on and it's not moving. So the behavior did not change in the slightest after our atoms to refresh it. Okay. Let's go back to this one. Again, power. And see, so now this drive has a GPT partition scheme. The same stuff, but not MBR anymore. Nope. I guess not reading this one. Okay. This is not working. That we already learned. So I have a flash drive that's pretty full and it has a ton of stuff on it. But maybe maybe we can use it. So there's one that's 32 gigs, something completely different for a change. Let me prepare a 32 gig one. Interesting. Not seeing it as a flash drive. It's not formatted. Okay. Okay, let's format it with Rufus. Just a second. Here we go. So I'm curious how come this one's not formatted. Let me just check. Raw. The system sees it as raw. Not sure what's that in there. So maybe some Linux partition or something. But I have no notes on what it might be. So let's format this one. 32 gigabytes. Label F. Interesting. Now Rufus is not answering. Is the drive dead? Did they just found a bad flash drive? Oh, here we go. The Windows Explorer restarted. Okay. Trying to put this file again on another flash drive. Yeah, if I can click properly. Here we go. So this one is like USB 3.0, I think. Works way faster. Yeah, Data Traveler 3.0. So maybe this one will do. The thing about this BIOS flashback function is that you actually can flash motherboard even with corrupted BIOS, as far as I understand. So here we have another one. Unfortunately, it doesn't have any indicators, so we'll just have to wait 5 minutes to see if it worked. Power on, flashback. Same behavior here. Just flashing. Well, I mean, I'm not sure it's flashing anything, but at least the LED is flashing. Op. Op. Something's happening. The coolers have started. We have a light on the CPU, and it's flashing differently now. Okay, here we go. It is doing something. Noise. So that's some progress. That's some progress right there. More progress. Yeah, step by step. That's how it always is. 5 minutes. They say it takes 5 minutes. And it's supposed to just shut down after it's done. So you cannot see it, but on the other side of the motherboard there is like this easy debug LEDs, it's called, and the CPU one is on again. Okay, it's good to see that the motherboard's reacting the way it's supposed to. So let's hope that the problem is that the motherboard didn't have the right BIOS updated for certain generation Intel CPU, and we found it in the BIOS version history that there were some BIOSes for this motherboard initially without 13th gen support. So let's hope it's this and nothing else. Yeah, said that we don't have an access LED on this flash drive, but I think we're gonna see something else. We're gonna see it doing something in the end of the flashing process. I'm actually not even sure if I have anybody watching me on YouTube now, because I somehow managed to close YouTube. Yeah, nobody's really watching me on YouTube, according to the dashboard. Not sure if anybody was chatting there. Probability is low that anybody tried to talk to me on YouTube. Okay, come on, flash, come on, do something. So 5 minutes they say it took. They say it took. But on all the motherboards for AMD CPUs. Okay, come on. Come on. Has it been 5 minutes? Has it been 5 minutes? But now I think it's definitely trying to flash it. It found the file and probably read it. I don't think the fact that the CPU light is on and the coolers are on means that the CPU is involved in any way, shape or form. Not supposed to be involved. I'm just kinda like thinking of probability that what if having a CPU installed actually messes up the process. Again, Not supposed to. But who knows? Op. Op. It's off. And the motherboard is off. There was a yellow light. It's trying to do some... Yeah! There is probably going to be image. It's right now... Oops. A different light. Different light. Different light on the... Here we go. Yeah! We got it working! It'll try to boot probably. Or it'll try to... What's doing? Is it... It's not booting. The LED currently that's on is... VGA. Yeah, it's asking us for the right memory installation. No, it's trying to boot Windows. We got it. We freaking got it. Okay, this part might not work at all because I prepared this Windows install on a totally different system. Well, you look at that. You look at freaking that. Now, let's install all the memory slots. Yeah. That's my job, really. That's my job. That's what I do. Well, not a lot of these days, but that's what I do for living. Solving problems like that on like different levels. A motherboard that won't start, or I don't know, some crazy software that God knows how it works at all. So okay, let me readjust the cam. Oh, there's a huge delay actually. Strangely enough, these cameras, they started to do it. There's huge delay between the synchronization between the microphone and the cameras. Not supposed to, and I forgot to check it before starting the stream. Let's populate all the memory slots properly. Let's shut down Windows. Hey, are you going to work? I'm not seeing anything. The Windows button is not working. So I'm not sure if the keyboard's okay, or if the Windows just stopped. Trying different USB slot. Okay, let me try a normal wired keyboard. So maybe we managed to actually halt the Windows completely. Would you... I think Windows is dead. but we managed to boot it at least once. So interesting, but possible. Yeah, Windows is dead. So let's turn it off. And populate all the memory slots here. Is it in focus? More or less. So it was just wrong BIOS version. The outdated BIOS not supporting the 13th generation CPUs. And we actually confirmed that BIOS flashback actually works. It's just picky when it comes to USB drives. So some people complain that they had to try 5 different USB drives and it would work only with the oldest one, with the most basic one. So some people would say that opposite way around, it would work only with the most advanced one they had, 32 gigs, USB 3 and whatnot. So in my case it was actually USB 3. Okay, let's see. Not sure what happened to Windows. Maybe it's not going even to work properly, because Windows 10 is not supposed to be used with these CPUs. Okay, on. Memory light is on. No lights on. It's going to train memory probably. Oh, VGA lights on. CPU memory changed. And it didn't wait for me. And it's booting again. So, is it on this time? Is it truly on? Oh yeah. Okay then. Shut down it properly. Shut down. And let's do it the way it's supposed to be. Give me a sec. Give me a short second. Hey, are you trying to tell me I don't have a cable? What the hell? I supposed to have... Okay, give me a second. I just need an HD... Yep, here it is. A pretty thick HDMI cable. So we don't need to look at this old monitor through this pretty basic camera when I have all the power of image capture. Well, Chinese image capture, but still. It's not that reliable. It's kind of crazy. Year is 2033 and still the most reliable way to get an image from a PC that's kind of, well, I mean, performing some basic operations like booting and whatnot. It's like to just set a camera and direct it at the monitor, the most reliable way. But we have a capture card here. That's not the right one. This is the right one. Give me a second. Here we go. Starting the computer again. So now we have only this output. Hey, come on. No lights on the motherboard. Is it running? It is. But there's no output for some reason. Yeah, that happens with the capture cards. That's why I call it the most reliable way is to device default. Let me try to fix it. This is not the right one. So no, there is an output. It's not grabbing the image from the PC. What the hell? On a PC is not outputting the image for some reason. So it was working with very old monitor, but not working with this capture card. Okay, pass through. Pass through should work anyway. And it's not. Okay, let's try it again. It's like the video card didn't like the fact that I tried to capture, so maybe there's like HDCP stuff in place. VGA output, VGA light on the motherboard. No lights. No video output to the capture card. So maybe HDCP thing. So I guess we are stuck using this monitor. Or we can try to wait till it gets booted. I did not actually test the memory. If the memory, well, I mean, there was a VGA LED, so I kinda immediately installed memory and immediately switched to, did I immediately switch to the capture card? No, this one's here we go. Well, no bias, but it was just a matter of resetting the capture card. Yeah, connection error, there's no connection. So this is this PC running. So let's take a look at what's going on here. Do we have all the memory? Oops. Did we just crash? I think we did just crash. Didn't load correctly. No, it loaded okay. So again, this is Windows 10 from a different, prepared on a different computer, and I totally understand if this one just wouldn't run at all here. That would be totally understandable. So maybe we can try to, like, I don't know, do something else, like run, for example, hardware info without crashing. No, we don't need sensors only. What's going on with the CPU? Is it like turbo in at max? I'm not even seeing that. Well, the radiator is not hot, so maybe it's not reading the state of the CPU right. So, but it is kind of working. Strange that it crashes from time to time. Oh, it was doing something. So Windows is doing something. Was doing something, like maybe trying to. Well, I mean, it cannot load any drivers. There's no network connection. But yeah, now it's not turboing all, like it's not like all core spec. Okay. Memory, we can see all of the planks. It's 32 gigs, so that's good. Let's see if we can run like Cinebench. 1370, 16 cores, 24 threads. It's because efficiency cores, they're not hyper threaded. So let's see if it works. It does. So it's not going to work the best, but it does work without proper scheduler for the CPU tasks, different tasks to different cores. Basically, it actually does work. And pretty serious level. That's old Xeon i7 4890 but with 60 cores on it, and that CPU is kinda close without even being properly scheduled, and twice as fast as the first Threadripper 16 core. And there's one here, 2666, that's the one that I have in my Chinese rig. Oh, and I think we are dead. Maybe because of the video drivers, by the way. Maybe because of the video drivers. So, but this is already good. So we are dead. There's yeah, it's halted again, but again, it's not supposed to work like this. Yeah, there's heat dissipation. I'm currently touching the cooler, and it's a little bit warm here. It's a little bit warm. So a victory, I guess. So let's try to start it again. kind of relative victory because the system is not properly working, but I didn't expect it to properly work here without any drivers and not the proper version of the system for the task. So we need Windows 11. We need Windows 11, and then we'll be able to test it properly. But for now, yes, VLD, so far I'm winning. We solved the problem, so maybe there's something else. Knock on the wood. Maybe there's something else. So these halts are kind of strange, but again, who knows? Maybe actually one of the D modules is really faulty. Maybe actually. So, but I always can run it with just one to test everything else. If there's a couple of them are faulty, if a couple of them, well, I mean mem test, that's going to be a thing. So, but that's a win. It didn't want to work, and we forced it. So, just give me a second here. It took us quite some time, but we got it working. So I guess from here I just got to prepare it, well, kind of get everything in order here. There's a lot of stuff under my feet now. Prepare it for Windows install, and well, got to get Windows 11 and try to use Windows 11 on this one. Not going to play some crazy Windows 11 modification tricks for this, like I normally disable Windows updates, I normally disable lots of telemetry stuff, so I will just try Windows 11 in its stock form, let it update, then check video drivers and the rest of the stuff, and then try to, for example, run DZ and encode video. So that's the test I need on this one. So thank you very much for watching. That's it for tonight. It was a hard win, but it was a win, so we won. I guess let's find somebody to rate. So somebody maybe. Thank you really for watching. So maybe somebody doing some PC building, maybe somebody doing something else. The major win here, I would say, would be not making this stuff, not forcing this stuff to work, but to actually learning, forcing BIOS flashback button to work. So that's what it is. Because I've heard about like this motherboard coming with wrong BIOS version, not supporting certain gen. That's kinda okay. But BIOS flashback button, I heard like lots of complaints. Enough rambling. Let's see if we can rate somebody. Okay, can I open my own channel without deafening myself? Shut up. So PC building. Do we have anybody doing any PC building? Are these guys building any PCs? Yeah, they are. Ooh. They don't need my views. And these guys, they are not doing anything at all. Okay. Let's go on science and technology. Lots of strange stuff, lots of coding, lots of some strange monitoring going on. Somebody streaming probably PC building, but unfortunately in Portuguese. 3D printing. Yeah, not a lot of people here. Okay, so if we cannot find anybody in science and technology, let's take a look at Twitch, my Twitch following page. Okay, I think that'd be fitting to go to Nate, who is playing Project Zomboid, but Nate is kinda the same way as I. He totally understand what we were doing without actually a ton of explanations. So, and he does the same stuff, even unpacking new phones. See you all tomorrow. That's it for tonight. Goodbye and good night. And it's been success. Well, kinda, but it's been huge progress. That's the right way to put it. See you all tomorrow. Cheers.